Hello everyone, it is me, Alan, once more here to bring you the BMD Air Assault Battalion. That's right, you can bring the VDV in the Team Yankee now. And if you did not know that, then I'm glad to be your only source of Team Yankee news. Truly, it is an honor. Today we're going to be looking at the starter force for the Red Dawn Soviets, and I'm going to make a bold statement here. The best value starter set for the entirety of the Warsaw Pact. I'm even going to go through and talk about why I think that, if it's not immediately obvious, because it's a pretty damn good value set. Plus you get an objective, and you get frickin' the guys from Red Dawn. It's cool. So what do you get inside? You get 9 BMD transports. I'm going to say that at least once. 9 assault rifle teams, 6 RPG-7 teams, 3 T-64BV tanks. That's the ones with the ERA, but you can also build them as just regular T-64s if you're a little bit of a loser. You got a platoon of BTR-ZDs, which are just BTRs that they literally just put an anti-aircraft gun on top of and like strapped it down with some rope. I'm not even kidding, that's a thing. They may have welded it, but I've seen it with rope. So, like in Warno, it's a video game. You get 2 Hind helicopters, because if there's one thing I think, what do Warsaw Pact players need in their starter set? If there's one thing I've always wanted from a Warsaw Pact starter set, it's some Hinds. Got a Red Dawn BMD objective, which features Ronald Whack-Donalds. McPizza King. That's what they call it in game. And then you've got the alternative command team, which has the Cuban from the film. I'm wondering if they actually have the rights to the film, or if they're just hoping that nobody notices. They've got to have the rights, right? It's got a rule book, some flight stands, a Start Hero booklet, and 16 unit cards you can play right out of the box. Let's see what's inside. Okay, comrades, are you ready? Good lord, that is a lot more than I expected. Okay, let's not start here. You get the rulebook and the command cards. We're going to have a little bit of a look at that later on. You get some bubble wrap, which is very useful for going. If you get tired of Team Yankee, that'll keep you entertained for hours. You get the old T-64 frames. Yep, and this looks like the Hind frames. Yep. Man, I've got like 8 unbuilt Hinds now. I don't think it's quite that high, but it's close. It's uncomfortably close to 8. You got all the little transports, little derpy boys. Which, look at that. They've actually got enough turrets in there so you can build it as both, and you can choose when to run it as a Mark 1, I think, or a Mark 2. It's just a really nice change, like compared to the BMP kit, where you basically can only choose one because of the upper hull options. It's really cool. I approve. And we've got, here are the upgrade sprues for the T-64s, which means that, likewise, you can build these and just say the ERA is superfluous if you're running as the Mark 1s, because the Mark 1s have a turret, and this has a turret, so just use that to differentiate which ones are normal and which ones are upgraded with the ERA. Now, we've got the exclusive command team and some tank commanders. You know what I've got. If I've got one thing more than Hinds, it's superfluous tank commanders. God, I've got so many of these. Battlefront, please make a new sprue, just so I can have more of these to put in my bits box, I guess. I don't know why I'm asking for a new sprue. I never use them anyway. I have my Soviets be historical, fighting buttoned up. Except that's not at all historical, apparently. You've got I believe the Cuban advisor. I don't know about you, but I'm going to take some green stuff and make a very tiny cigar to give him. And you've got just a couple of, I believe, just VDV. Oh no, I believe this is the Cuban actually. I will give you a tiny cigar, tiny man. Anyway, it's just a cool little include. I think this is I kind of hope they do something like this for starter sets going forward. It's a nice little reason to buy the starter set, even if you're well invested into the faction. Like, I'm pretty well invested in the Soviet Union, but rather than wait for the VDV stuff, we wanted to buy the starter set. The large chunk for this and the objective, like, whoever made that idea at Battlefront, you deserve a little bit of a raise, because I'm sure that drives a bunch of sales. Speaking of, we're going to look at me struggling with a staple. And the little objective. I know not a lot of people can get out to tournaments. There's also just a really good way of giving out these objectives. Good lord, is that is the gut of the turret is molded onto the hull. Not going to complain. I was looking forward to this. And you've got your Ronald McDonald sign. My apologies, that would be copyright infringement. Unlike the rest of this Red Dawn starter set. I do kind of find it funny that you can assemble it like that. But don't you dare, because that would be infringing on a certain company's copyright. So make sure to assemble it like that. And you get a couple of resin soldiers. That's just cool to see. It's not something you ever see in Battlefront or other products. Anyway, it's just a really cool little objective marker. I'm probably going to build that and run it with my Warsaw Pact forces. I really like unique objective markers. It's something I really hope they bring back for these box sets. I miss the days when you used to be able to get one in any army bundle that you had. And by miss, I mean I never actually participated, so, I've heard about it. That counts, right? And then you get 2 platoon of the VDVs. Yes. You get 2 air assault platoons, so I'm just going to open one of these to kind of look at. I'll assume that Battlefront has done their due diligence and that they are identical. You get the standard base arrangement, RPGs, assault rifles, and a unit leader. And man, are those some good looking sculpts. I'm a big fan of resin and metal, metal infantry, because I feel like it really captures the detail of the mini very well. Though I do like how easy cleanup is on plastic ones, I do have to admit. But I'm so glad to see these, just a platoon of them at least. I cannot wait to paint these up. You got all sorts of different little sculpts, some assault rifles. Interesting. Guy with a pistol. Doing the classic Commissar from World War II pose. That's just kind of cool. There's a couple of them, actually. I'm looking for like an RPG or something to show you guys. There's one. Little RPG. Do you find it kind of interesting of them fighting in their little berets rather than helmets? But I suppose that is the Hollywood of the game. Plus, it does make their units look very distinct, which is a nice touch on a big open board. Okay, and boom, boom, boom. And let's look at the last unit. When's the last time you saw like resin and metal stuff being included in a starter pack? Like, it's just cool. I really appreciate that they did this starter pack, and if I recall, it doesn't actually cost much more than a normal one. Despite the fact that half the contents are metal and resin. Like, seriously, Battlefront is like just superb when it comes to customer service. like marketing. Like I've been playing a lot of Warhammer 40k recently, and they're like, "Hey, we're releasing this new tank that we may or may not let you use. Go ahead and shell out freaking $100. I don't know how much the Rogel Dorn is. I assume it's like $100. And you get the AA boys. Man, this looks unfortunately complicated. But some little machine guns to put on. It's cool. It's really cool. It looks like it also includes the stuff that you need to build it as a missile carrier instead, which is really cool. It also means that with a little bit of work, you can definitely use these little rocket bits to convert up some launchers for your VDV forces, because I believe they can bring launchers from their infantry. So that's cool. You also have a LMG that you could probably give your infantry. But that's what you get if you put in a little bit of extra time and work modeling stuff, and you don't feel like you're wasting a bunch of bits, which is always a bonus to me. I mean, I started my wargaming experience as a student helping take care of family in the UK. I got used to Warhammer, so this box probably has a lot more value than even I'm giving it credit for. Okay, let's move on to the Start Here booklet. Flight stands. Let's move on to the Start Here booklet. If you'd like to see my review of flight stands, please go and watch the entirety of one of my previous videos where I unboxed a Soviet starter set and there were Heinz in it. In fact, I believe that was the second or third Soviet starter set I unboxed with Heinz in it. So, go ahead and watch them all. I could use the watch time. Welcome. Here's how you build stuff. Honestly, this is a really cool thing. So all their instructions are online normally, and I approve of that. I mean, trying to save paper and such from the normal boxes, but for the new players, they include this little thing so that you can get started on your army right away. You can build these, and there are no required parts for the BMD1 or the BMD2, which means you get to pick back and forth for what you want. You got the T64 and the T64BV. And you've got as I predicted, all the little variants for the different BTR-ZD, BTR-RD, BTR-D, etc. BTRs, and the Heinz. Those Heinz. It's taking me back, man. I'm trying to build Heinz. And they even include a cute little sample list, which I think is absolutely wonderful. They recommend running it as an assault battalion, but I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you run it as a Afghanistan assault battalion, which is one of the new formations they introduced in Red Dawn. The Afghanistan assault battalion, I believe, even is included in the cards here. We're actually going to have to look at those transfers. There's new transfers. But first, let's look at the unit cards. Ooh, Jesus Christ, those were mangled in my copy. It's okay, I mean, I've got all the unit cards, but jeez, look at that. Ooh, they tried too. They put it in a baggie and everything. I don't know what happened. I don't think this is Battlefront's fault, and I'm sure if I emailed them, they'd send me a new card, but they probably sent me a whole card pack. They're really nice. But I have no real interest in more cards because I already bought the card pack, so I just wanted to open this for the review. You get your entire force as usual. This is where you get started. You get your Heinz, T60 normal T64s. You get your air assault battalion. So this is what they recommend you start with. Yes, that's right. I have 3 hands now. And the various other parts of that assault formation, including things like BTRDs that you can optionally assemble from this force, or BTR-RDs, which are apparently the ones with 85 missiles. That's kind of cool. And the anti-aircraft gun platoon. Then you get the T-64BV, and this is how I recommend you start the Army, with the Air Assault Company VDV Afghanistan, which is notable for having Courage 3-up, Skill 3-up, and being hit on 4s, just like a NATO force. You're running a very small, very elite unit. I believe I put together the points from this box. If you build it out properly, you could end up with, I believe it was 56, maybe 60 points, if you built it out as an Afghanistan one instead of a normal one. So, you know, that's a hell of a box. Like, you do this, and then you split the Team Yankee starter set with someone, you've spent about $200 for a fully complete, fully playable, elite Soviet army. If you had told me when I was starting this YouTube channel that you could buy a fully fledged Warsaw Pact army that was hit on 4s, had skill 3-up, had courage 3-up, I would have smacked you in the face and thrown you out of my house. I would have asked, how did you get in my house, good sir, and why would you tell me such lies? Battlefront would never do such a thing. They don't like money that much. But yeah, if you can't tell, I'm very excited for the fact that we finally have elite Soviets. I'm not even going to play them that much. Like, I might include a unit alongside my Czechs, but I'm just excited for the options. And hey, as I promised, if they came out with elite Soviets, I'd buy them. Look at me. Look at me. You can't say I'm a liar. I mean, you can, but not from this. And they've got some little VDV transfers, which I want to show you. They've got the normal, like, aircraft transfers and such, too. Oh, no, it's not going to show up on the camera. Sorry, guys, they look cool. You can see them on the website if you really want. A little bit. I'm sorry, it really doesn't show up with the lighting here. Anyway, as you can tell by the usual pile of randomly scattered Battlefront miniatures, that's the end of my review. What do I think of this? This is perhaps the best starter set I've ever reviewed. Like, this is amazing. You can bring this alongside any other platoon. I didn't even mention, you parachute these units in. Meaning that you drop, you drop one of these on the board, and you roll a couple of dice, and you see where your VDV end up. And it's just like, you know, you roll that, and you put them right there, which means they might end up in the middle of the board, they might end up dying horribly on a piece of terrain. But the thing is, you can deep strike these, while your main unit kind of holds the back line, or advances up slowly, blitzes forward as these guys wreak havoc in your enemy's rear line. It's really cool. It's really cool. It's really thematic, too. I mean, these are airborne troops, saboteurs, elite soldiers. And as I said, you can just run them as an ally to any Warsaw Pact force. You run them with Cubans, West Germans, Iranians, if you really want to. Syrians, if you're some sort of person who doesn't like Iraq. I guess Syria's just worse Iraq. I think I lost my train of thought there. Circling back to it, it's a very good box set. Highly recommend. I'm going to rate it a 9.5 out of 10. In case they come out with, I don't know, Skoda Works only 28 modern T-72Bs. There's your entire Czech army. That's the box I'm waiting for, Battlefront. I know that you guys just watch my YouTube channel, and you guys are waiting for me to make suggestions. So there it is. Anyway, like it if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, and I will see all of you on the next video. Bye-bye now.